Hello, Internet. Welcome to episode 371 of the Assorted Calibers podcast, the second minute podcast. There's a little bit for everyone. I'm Weer'd, and tonight we are having an ACP roundtable. And it's a slightly shorter roundtable than usual. So, of course, as always, I'm joined by the greatest hostess of all time, Erin Paulette. How you doing, Erin?
I'm in an abusive relationship with my daughter.
You get the children that you deserve. I speak from experience.
So, they say that it takes a while for dogs to show their true personalities, when coming home with you, and it can be up to a month. And we've had Tilly a month, and it's not like her personality fundamentally changed. It's just she had been restrained, and now she's so very extra and wants to play all the time, wants to wrestle all the time, and she's constantly nipping at me. She's not being aggressive, she's just playing, but sometimes she bites and it hurts. I am just covered in bruises and scratches and other things. And she's sorry, but then she forgets, and then she'll bring a toy back and just barrel straight into. She doesn't stop. I am the air cushion, the airbag, and so it's just okay. I'll throw my paws up and boom, right into mom, and ugh.
So she has two speeds, fast and off.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, she's also got zoomy speed, but yeah, when we go out for a walk, she does that little dog thing where the sound effect would be yeah, just the little legs, just a blur. Yeah.
Does she still have the razor sharp puppy teeth, or have those mostly dropped?
I mean, she's over a year old, so she's not fully a puppy, but she's still very much a toddler and puts everything in her mouth, and we are constantly feeding her rawhide chews.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, to keep all right, if you're going to chew on something, chew on this, and also so that you don't chew on us quite so much.
The pet version of a chamber flag.
That is not wrong.
If there's a rawhide in that mouth, it means my shoe is not.
Yeah.
Or your arm.
Yeah. So
I had
obviously we have David here. How are you doing, David? Finish your story.
Okay, yeah. A little distracted. So many years ago, I had a dog I got when she was a little puppy, and she still did have those razor sharp puppy teeth. And she was a medium-sized dog at full growth, about 60 pounds, and she liked to roughhouse. And when she was still a puppy, I was training her to start and stop roughhousing only on command. So I would put on a leather motorcycle jacket, I would put on a pair of leather gloves, and she knew what that meant, and she would start getting all wiggly, and then I would clap, and she would come running in and roughhouse. And one time we were doing that, and playtime was over, so I clapped again, and she stopped. Good. And I go to take off the gloves, and I realize that the heel side of one of the gloves is slit open about from almost just above my wrist to about halfway up my pinky. Because one of those razor-sharp puppy teeth caught the edge of the glove and slashed it open and didn't stop at the glove. I had like a 1/4-inch deep cut all the way up the heel side of my hand.
Ooh.
So that's why I was asking about the razor-sharp puppy teeth, because they are. But she was a very good dog. She was very sorry. She hadn't realized she'd done it either. And, well, that was good. And the reason this is a shorter roundtable is because our tallest regular attendee isn't with us. He had to sleep.
Yeah.
Oddball had to take his monthly nap.
Oddball sleeps once a month.
He sleeps about as often as Bortus pees.
I mean, he works in IT, so that tells you a lot about his sleep schedule and probably his caffeine consumption.
Mm-hmm. And alcohol.
This is where you post the picture of him upending a fifth of Jack Daniels or something?
I I think it's a 750 milliliter of military special.
I think that's a 1.75.
But I don't have that image saved.
Someone does.
Oddball's usually here to do it himself.
Ah.
Oh no. Hold on, I will search. It's got to be in here somewhere.
So while he's
I'm trying to
looking,
find the-
how are you doing, Weer'd?
I'm doing pretty darn good. So, people probably don't know because, well, some people will know because of the if they're patrons and they're subscribed to the blooper reel that's going to come out just before this one. I am going to mention that blooper reel. I was finishing it up before we recorded the last show, and Erin came on, and it was time to start doing the show. So I said, all right, I'll finish the blooper reel in the morning. It was mostly done, and by the time morning came, my computer was having a lot of problems. It was very old, and I dragged that blooper reel over the finish line, kicking and screaming. Essentially, got it uploaded to the Google Drive where I keep everything backed up. And then I just had to go. I had a replacement computer. I was looking for some free time, realizing that, I don't have free time. There's always projects to do. And so, yep. And Oddball had been yelling at me saying, just fix the damn computer. And I'm just like, okay. And so I said, all right, time to go. So essentially built the new computer. That went actually pretty darn well, though it did take pretty much the whole day. But I will say I am like 99% where my old computer was, all nice and broken in and beautiful. And I will say that number one, it is nice to have a computer that again works, because that other one was just completely crumbling around me. But also, like, that was an old computer, so this thing has got so much more power. And so I just before we started recording, I got another blooper reel up, and yeah, I threw that together really, really well. And I've gone from a 2-monitor setup to a 3-monitor setup, and it feels as luxurious as the first 2-monitor setup computer that I built. So I'm very pleased about that.
But the important question about your new computer: have you managed to get all of your porn transferred over?
Oh yeah, because I pulled the hard drive out of the old computer.
Ah, okay. That's usually with a new system. That's usually not recommended. It's usually recommended to reinstall. But if that works, great.
Well,
it saves a lot of time and aggravation.
And the short answer is I ordered the computer to not have an operating system on the onboard hard drive. Mm-hmm. There appeared to be one installed, and so it booted up straight, but now I'm just pulling stuff off of the other drive.
It booted up straight, unlike your porn.
I was trying to come up with something, Erin, but that was good.
I deserve this.
That was very good.
I deserve this.
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
so
I didn't have all the pieces when Weer'd said the booted up straight. I was like, there's something there. There's bits and pieces. But thank you, Erin.
You're welcome.
Yes. So yeah, I've got my new computer set up. One of the reasons why we're having this round table is obviously we're all back from Thanksgiving, and so we've been busy doing other things. But I will also say, before I get into my Thanksgiving Thanksgiving discussion, I kind of want to just throw out a quick round table of what was the highlight dish of Thanksgiving for each of you, and what you guys did. But when we got back from actually hilariously, so Heinrich from Geek Sketches and Guns was taunting me about my mouse problem and was stating that maybe I should put out a charcuterie board and ask for a parlay. And so I said, I have I went and grabbed a piece of salami and put it on one of the snap traps, and they're deer mice, so they're light enough that they can pull stuff off of snap traps without setting them off. But that next morning, one of the pieces of salami was missing, and I got very excited. So I baited up all the traps with salami. And when we got back, we had one mouse. All the other traps are untouched. One trap had a mouse in it.
Larry lives.
Yes, but it was a pup, not a full-size mouse, and I have seen at least one full-size mouse running around, and there's the evidence. So we got a small victory on the board, though. Again, as I said to my wife, I think we caught the one mouse in this house that likes salami.
Well, yes, but there's
eaters.
also my theory about your mice problem.
Yes, that they're from the National Institute of Mental Health.
Well, that's one. That's the funny theory. But my serious theory is that you have caught and killed all the stupid mice. You are having a mouse genetics program
Eugenics
ongoing. Yes, thank you, eugenics. I was blanking on that word.
Yeah,
but you've been running a mouse eugenics program. You are now getting to the smart mice.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because we have we've got I've got traps strung up all along the walls, because mice enjoy to have one side brushing against a solid surface because it makes them feel more secure. So they tend to run along walls. Because of these mice traverse the center of rooms. Like, it's just, they're not supposed to do that. In fact, we had in one of the pharma companies, and they were working on an anti-anxiety medication, and so they had these specialized cages that could track where the mouse was in the cage. And the idea was, if the mouse is in the center of the cage, they're not feeling as anxious as a mouse that stays on the edges. But I'm like, I don't know, because what you're asking them is to behave not like a mouse, and these mice are behaving not like mice.
God. So, Erin,
Yes?
I'm wondering, with the way that he explained the computer issue, did that meet the requirements for tells a story badly?
I typed it in the chat window. Yeah.
Okay. I was in a different window. Thank you. For those in the blooper, oh no, this is actually not a blooper reel thing. For those of our listeners, we are playing Erin's game Weerdingo, which is a bingo board with weirdisms on it.
I'm a competitive sport.
Yes, like in the Special Olympics.
Yes. All right. So,
Okay,
I'll go first with just my Thanksgiving. Is I went up to my parents' place up in Maine. And my mother-in-law, who is feeling much better, actually came over as well, and she had a great time. But I will say that actually, I'll link it in the show notes. My aunt is really, really good at finding recipes and then executing them amazingly. And she picked the Pioneer Woman's. What was it called? It was her green bean casserole, and essentially part of it was she made her own cream of mushroom soup as part of the. So it was essentially homemade cream of mushroom soup then added to a traditional green bean casserole, and it was spectacular. And so that was the shining event of the of Thanksgiving. I don't know who wants to go next. Erin, do you want to go next?
I will be a disappointment. So,
okay.
Well, so David, if you have something great, I will go in the middle.
I do not. I can talk about some of the things that people made, but none of them to me were spectacular, as Weer'd put it. There was plenty of good food, but if you want to go in the middle, that's fine. If you want to go at the end, I don't care if you prefer to be the big spoon or the little spoon. So you just tell me where to go.
All right, so I'll be the middle of the sandwich. And my favorite...
Weird, high five.
Yay.
My favorite is the same thing every year, and that is not actually at Thanksgiving dinner, but the day after. And that's the day when we have to put up all the Christmas lights, and I'm hot and sweaty. And what Mom does is she makes turkey salad sandwiches. Literally chicken salad, just using turkey instead. And so that's nice and cool after working in what is usually a hot Florida day putting up the lights. And it tastes really yummy. So turkey salad, try it with your leftovers.
Excellent. And that's not a disappointment.
Oh, okay.
And David, tell us about your Thanksgiving.
We had Thanksgiving at friend's house. Oddball and his wife came into town for it, and we had a bunch of other folks. Our adopted kids, our adopted son more specifically, his parents came up from Texas, so it was nice to see them again. What's adorable is...
Put more stank on it, David. Texas.
Texas.
There you go.
The Republic of Texas. What's really adorable is he calls them his Texas parents. Because he is such a dear boy. He really, really is. And as I mentioned, his wife was adopted by the couple that hosted. And we've talked about Dennis before in his curmudgeonly ways. Dennis makes a cranberry raspberry or something crumble. I'm not a fan of hot fruit, so it's not my thing. But it's a recipe that he has protected for years, and he has allowed their adopted daughter to see the menu and to make it. And this was the year that she was allowed to make it for Thanksgiving. And he said that it was a test. And if she didn't get a high enough grade, not only would she not be allowed to make it again, he would take the recipe back. And so she brings out a plate of it, puts it in front of him, and gives him a fork. And he does the whole, picks it up, looks at it, holds it to the light, puts it in his mouth, swishes it around, makes various faces and noises. And I think he gave it a B-.
Which is a passing grade.
Yes. She also made a green bean casserole, which, again, I'm not a huge fan of green beans, but everyone who tried it said it was wonderful. My wife made, what was it? The mashed potatoes. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm just blanking on some of these details, but I believe that she did not make her cranberry sauce because the host's son made a cranberry chutney from his World of Warcraft cookbook, which my wife thought was excessively complicated but tasty. And it made him happy, so that's all that needs to be done.
Actually, the passed on dessert actually reminded me of a story that I heard from Rob Allen, who was of course on an earlier episode on that. Is he was saying that his mother-in-law is not doing well, and so his wife had always been terrified to make her mom's apple pie because she didn't think it would measure up,
right.
But now that her mom was unable to make it this year, she made it, and Rob proclaimed that it was actually better than the ones that her mom had made. So she
Wow.
had indeed cleared the bar. But I noted to that as saying that, like, if you've got a family recipe that you are you worried about it not measuring up, just don't let it measure up. Just make it, because I'm trying to remember if I talked about this from when I was down in Tennessee, but Miles and I drove down, and on our drive down, we left in the evening. And so we drove through the night, and just as the sun was coming up, there was a sign for a Waffle House. And I said, "You want to go to a Waffle House?" He says, "I've never been." Absolutely. So we went to a Waffle House. And of course, the thing that I was most excited about was the hash browns, and the hash browns came out.
Did you get them plain like Ryan did?
No. God,
Good.
Such an abomination.
It's a violation of natural law.
Yeah. No, he just got just hash browns. I'm like, that's it?
No, that's not how that works.
And so the hash browns came out, and they were an excellent example of Waffle House hash browns. And I realized the hash browns that I make at home are better. But that is not because from right off the bat I was better than Waffle House hash browns, but I've made hash browns enough times that I perfected that recipe, and again perfected it to my personal tastes. So therefore I like it better. And
so for your hash browns that you say are better than Waffle House, where do you source the cigarette ash?
Yeah, no, I that's one of the things that I like better.
Okay. So my wife made mashed potatoes and pasta salad, which is always a big hit. And we brought proper cranberry sauce. And we also brought a proper dish to serve the cranberry sauce, which I tossed in the chat.
Perfect.
Yes. And that was a gift from Oddball and his wife to me close to a year ago now.
But yeah, of course, it's the people listening can't see. It is essentially a porcelain dish that is in the shape of a half can,
and it says canberry on it.
Yes,
and then the accompanying spoon.
It's slice and serve.
Yeah,
so it's more of a spatula, I think, than a spoon.
Something like that.
Yep. And there was definitely some comments about that Canberry server. But our friend Katie also made her deviled eggs. I was very good. I think I only had 6 halves, not whole eggs. I could have.
Are you feeling okay, David?
Well, there were a lot of people, and I didn't want to take more than my fair share until everyone else had theirs.
Okay.
I've been talked to about that in the past.
That is also how I eat deviled eggs. I will take 2 or 3 and move on, but then I will circle like a shark.
Yeah, this was
if no one's touched that tray
style,
in a little while, I could swoop in and grab a few more.
Well, I had 2 before everyone arrived because she showed up, she opened it up, and I had 2 half deviled eggs, and then 4 more with dinner, and 3 more with, I don't know. I might have had more. I lost count. There were not enough. But her daughter made pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, which were really good. They were not overly pumpkin, but the pumpkin chocolate chip combination was nice. Then, of course, there was turkey and stuffing and all the various other fixings. So a good time was had by all. And this coming weekend, my wife and I will be making our turkey because if you don't make a turkey, you don't have leftovers. And I'm going to have a pilgrim sandwich, by God. Which means I'll have to make bread because I like my pilgrim sandwich on challah.
Actually, because my wife is actually one of those people of which there are many, and hat tip to all of you because I've actually we actually went over to a friend's place yesterday to help them finish off their Thanksgiving leftovers, and they had ham. I think he was said because the turkey had gone badly enough times in a row that they've just given up and they're just taking something that they know they can do well. But I know so many people who just do not like turkey at all, and so have prime rib or ham or something like that. But my wife is not a big turkey eater, and my dad
she deals with a turkey every day.
That's true. And so I ended up grabbing a Costco rotisserie chicken when I went to Costco with my dad, and so so as soon as we got home right around lunch, and I made chicken quesadillas.
Now I'm thinking about what rotisserie turkey would taste like, and I'm sure it'd be delicious.
Absolutely, need a good enough size rotisserie because turkey's a big bird. Although you could just get one of the turkey breasts and rotisserie it. That would likely fit in a household rotisserie.
And I would argue that just the rotisserie is just simply a mechanical advantage, especially given like the massive rotisserie roasters that exist at like stores and restaurants.
Like Costco.
Exactly. It's very, very similar to just a regular roasted in the oven, because that's essentially what the roasting pan does, is allows the hot air to get underneath the turkey.
Well, there's also another aspect, which is that in the roasting tray in the oven, the turkey is in one position and all the juices drain to the bottom.
Oh, that's true.
Whereas in a rotisserie, those juices are more evenly distributed as it rotates.
Self-basting. Yeah.
Yep. Because honestly, basting the outside of a turkey is really not going to do much because the skin is pretty water resistant.
Mm-hmm. Unless I've never seen anyone try this, but when I make a chicken, actually, I take a toothpick and I essentially just tattoo the whole chicken, just short,
through your canoe.
Narrowly spaced pinpricks, essentially through the skin, but not too deep into the meat. And the idea being that it'll allow the fat that renders out onto the surface of the chicken to work its way under the skin.
Well, I mean, the fat under the skin is already under the skin, so that wouldn't make a difference there. But if you were basting it, it would allow the basting liquids to get through the barrier of the skin to the interior. One of the things that I've done with chickens, I've never tried it with a turkey, is I'll basically using my finger, I'll separate some of the skin from the turkey, or probably from the chicken, and I'll put slivers of butter underneath. My wife makes a basically macrame bacon pad to put on top of the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the size of an oven mitt, or of a pot holder, square pot holder, and it covers basically the entire top of the turkey.
Does she leave it on the whole time so it comes out that way, or does she take it off and it's just used to shelter the breast?
I believe she leaves it on the whole time, and then when the turkey comes out and it's resting, we start nibbling on the bacon.
That sounds delicious.
It is. Some of it crumbles in and becomes part of the gravy.
All right. Well, this is rapidly turning into a handgun radio.
Man.
Speaking of which, have you spoken to Gwen?
I have, and I'm right now talking to Ryan and seeing if we can come up with a with a time for that. So stay tuned on Handgun Radio for that future show.
And what will be the topic of discussion?
The Keltec PR 5750. I think it's 57.
57. Yeah, they don't want to call it 57 because they don't want to get a cease and desist letter.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes. Yes. Gwen Patton, who is what was her title with the Pink Pistols?
First speaker.
Yeah. So she was the first speaker of Pink Pistols, and she has for essentially her daily carry gun a PR 57 or 57, and she loves it. And so it's one of those, like, you know what? That's a good subject. So I look forward to that. So just gotta get the times set up. Yeah,
I'm still looking around for someone to get my hands on one at the range.
Yeah, it felt really nice at the NRA annual meeting.
Oh, absolutely. And I've handled a couple of them at NRA at the GOA Goals Expo, and at least one gun shop got one in, and it is a very sleek, comfortable feeling handgun. I mean, they definitely paid enough attention to ergonomics.
I agree, and that the fact that this is the gun that's fed with a stripper clip, not with a not with a detachable magazine,
right? Which allowed them to make that grip so much slimmer.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was. I mean, like I said, the Keltec 57 and the M&P 57 are the only two firearms that I have a serious interest in acquiring in that caliber. No, handguns, because of course I want a P90 because I watched Stargate. That's just a given. But yeah, it's one of those things. We are approaching SHOT Show 2026 as well, so I'm really curious about what crazy things are going to come out. But that'll be a different episode.
All right, so shifting gears to current events, and
unless you want to just turn this into a cooking show.
Yes, well, we could do that, but
absolutely could do that.
I would like to talk about there's actually quite a bit of Second Amendment news to discuss. And so this first one is, unfortunately, and I'm trying to remember which day this was. Was this the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, when the shooting in DC happened?
Yes, it was the week before. Was it the Wednesday? It was the week prior to Thanksgiving. Yeah, the article is from November 27th, and the article's from the 27th, and it references shot on Wednesday, pardon me. So that would make the 24th, the day before.
So it's the day. Yeah, it's the day before. It was on the November 26th. Oh no. So it was a Friday after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving was on the 27th.
Yes. Okay. Yep. So on the 26th there was some National Guard has been stationed in DC for a while now. I think we reported about that when that first went in to essentially assist DC police in lowering the extremely high crime rate in the District of Columbia.
Which they
And,
have been very successful about, according to residents.
yes.
Actual residents, not political people who use it as a backdrop.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it really has. They really have done a great job at increasing the public safety, and really haven't. I mean, really, honestly speaking, also to said the complaints that you hear about them is really just the fact that they're there. I have not heard any complaints of brutality or threats or anything like that. That would be actual oversteps that would be concerning about having troops being used to keep the peace.
Yeah.
But an individual opened fire on two National Guardsmen. They were both members of West Virginia's National Guard, and they were being utilized for the public safety thing. And one of them was killed.
Yeah, she succumbed to her injuries the following day, I believe.
Yeah,
shot on Wednesday, I believe, died on the Thursday, Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, and so her name was Sarah Beckstrom, and then another member was Andrew Wolf, who I actually just heard just before the show started that he's actually his condition has improved. So
good.
So it actually there's probably a good chance that he is going to make it through, although he was very severely injured.
Yeah, I believe she was shot in the neck and he was shot in the torso, was what I had read, but that was in the first 72 hours, so I don't know how accurate.
Yeah. I heard I heard the news that he was that he was conscious and alert in the hospital, and that was a great improvement. And I was like, oh, I'd actually heard in an early report that he had passed away as well. So and in all the traveling and all the family events and things like that, I haven't really been digging too deep into this story. I will just leave it on the person that shot them. I will not name him, but he was an Afghan national. And some people have pointed out that this was some sort of overstep from the Biden administration, but actually the Trump administration had signed off on some of his residency, and furthermore, this guy had actually worked with the CIA in Afghanistan during the war.
I hadn't heard that was confirmed. I heard he'd worked with U.S. forces. I hadn't heard it confirmed he worked with CIA.
I've seen it from multiple sources. I think I'm pretty confident that. But either way, he was essentially an Afghan U.S. ally in country. I mean, I'm sure Erin, your father, when he was in Vietnam, worked with South Vietnamese. So it's not just we go in and we fight everybody that's from that country.
Yeah. I believe that they were called Kit Carson Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm tossing into the show notes a video. It's more specifically, it's a habitual line crosser video where in the middle of it, he kind of goes on a rant about his involvement and his complaints regarding the program that brought these people here, to the point where he brought up some concerns and he was told to leave the meeting. Yeah. So it's there's a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. There'll be more to unpack, but I just wanted to get a little bit more information on that because there's a lot of people that are on both sides that are using this as a political football, and I don't think that's appropriate.
So I'm looking at that article that you linked to, and it does say that the CIA director confirmed that this guy worked with the CIA in Afghanistan. Yeah.
But he also, Habitual Line Crosser said that while he was working at Fort Pickett on this program, they would give fake names every day when they would show up for any kind of in-processing. You know, guy shows up for in-processing 3 days in a row, gives 3 different names. And just some of the other BS that they pulled. So it's worth, I mean, Habitual Line Crosser is always funny. Sometimes he's serious. The middle part of this is serious. And it's only a 15-minute video. and there's a lot of funny around the serious. So I would definitely recommend watching that video to get one man who was there impression of the process that was used for these guys, because it was after the withdrawal of the U.S. forces from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So that administration owned that, and then the current administration, for whatever reason, didn't revisit or didn't get around to it until tragedy struck.
Mm-hmm.
But what was not foreign nationals brought to this country was the next story, which I had heard about.
And speaking about the next political football, and this one, and also vetted individuals, is so the headline reads, it says it all. A Virginia high school principal and his brother were arrested for allegedly planning to carry out an attack involving firearms and explosives to kill U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents.
For pedantic purposes, assistant principal.
Okay.
It's not at all relevant, but you skipped that word, so I felt it needed to be put in.
Yes. And again, this just, as I said, this fall, I was a chaperone for a school field trip, and I needed to go through the Massachusetts Corey check system, and then go through an additional background check system ascribed that's essentially done for all teachers in the school, because again, it was a sleepaway camp. So I needed an extra level of vetting for all of that. And then, and so despite all of that, this gentleman's behavior did not set off any red flags.
Well, I mean, he was radicalized.
Yeah.
He probably was a relatively harmless bureaucrat before being radicalized to attempt harm against American law enforcement.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stunned me a little bit more was in the article that you linked that the I don't know if it was the assistant, the brother was overheard stating that he intended to meet with like-minded individuals in Las Vegas to purchase, quote unquote, firearms with explosive rounds to carry out the killings.
Yeah, that would kind of tip me as kind of a red flag of the, I wonder if these guys even knew how to shoot.
Right. Well, there's that. But it's also, what's the joke about the conspiracy to commit domestic terrorism? About, well, it's out of the 10 guys, there are 7 FBI agents, 2 confidential informants, and the 1 dupe.
Yeah.
Kind of getting a feeling about this.
Yeah, was he flying to Las Vegas to meet with his FBI handlers?
Right, but they were specifically looking to acquire large or high caliber rifles. That would pierce law enforcement bulletproof vests, which honestly is practically any rifle.
Yeah,
I mean, unless it's level 4 plates. If it's any of the level 3 or 3A, actually they have new references now, but I don't have those memorized. But if it's pistol plates, it's not going to stop practically any rifle round.
So does anyone else have Hopalong Ginsburg's lyrics running through their head right now?
Oh, yeah.
If he'll drive you to the protest, he's a Fed. That one?
Well, yeah, I think you got the tune a bit wrong, and it's if he'll drive you to the criming. But, you go down to the second verse. If his friend has got the weapons, he's a Fed. If his friend has got the weapons, he's a Fed. If you're running off your mouth and his buddy lives down south, if his friend has got the weapons, he's a Fed.
I don't remember lyrics that well, sadly.
Yeah, and those who follow, I think this was back when Ian and Carl were still on good terms. But they ended up getting their hands on, I believe, both some 8mm Mauser and 7.62 by 54R explosive sniper ammo, and they were dubious about how effective those were, but they actually were shockingly effective as far as that goes. But again, this is like old technology that you don't really see anymore. And so the idea of whenever someone talks about explosive ammo, you talk like it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal, and just everyone's got explosive ammo. But it's generally either exuberant gun writers talking about hollow points and expanding ammo, or it's or it's people that are just kind of talking out of their rear.
Yeah, usually the latter, but yeah.
So the next one, I don't know if either one of you watched it, but
I did.
I did
Nope.
link a video. I like to link text just because it's easier for everyone to read through. But it's a James Reeve video, and essentially it's called "Stand Your Ground Can Send You to Jail." And
Unlike Oddball, he actually is a lawyer.
yes, and he is
Got you back there, brother.
Yeah, he works with I believe it's U.S. Law Shield is the concealed carry, essentially insurance. Got to be a more accurate and better term, but that's how it works.
Legal coverage.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, legal coverage. That is much better. I'll be using that from now on. But yeah, so he works for U.S. Law Shield and he teaches classes on that. And one of the ones he's teaching one of the bits he teaches is on Stand Your Ground, and essentially talking about how just saying stand your ground is a something that could send you to jail, and that really you should. No matter what state you're in or where you are, you should be trying to de-escalate and or escape. And he specifically mentioned parking his car and getting attacked by Terminator era Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I liked that especially because it's one of those we will often see. Actually, I haven't seen it in a long time, but for a while I would see a lot of like firearms trainers teaching how to deploy your firearm from inside your car. And it's one of those like, or you could run the person over and or drive away real fast. That is always driving away real fast is always a preferable choice to getting into a gunfight.
Yarp.
But essentially, yeah, it's just the standard thing that I'm always talking about is the fact that everybody who knows anything about self-defense and use of force will essentially be saying you do not, if you can avoid putting lead into somebody, that's good. That's going to be a good day. And so even Stand Your Ground and Castle Doctrine and all that, they're really kind of legal protections for you making as prudent a decision as you can to defend your life. But the bottom line is it's going to be a lot of bother if you have to shoot somebody, and it's going to be a lot more bother if you shoot somebody and they die from it or are severely injured from it, no matter how justified you may be, especially given things like, Kyle Rittenhouse and George Zimmerman and people like that who
if Daniel Penny, if you want to go a little further.
Oh, yeah, him as well, yeah, who got turned into political footballs with it, even though it was very clear that they were justified from the beginning, and it was
Daniel Penny didn't even use a weapon.
Correct. And did not use a weapon.
But he still would have been covered by U.S. Law Shield.
Correct.
I have that particular legal protection, and I looked it up, and yes, James Reeves is the independent program attorney for Louisiana.
Yes.
With U.S. Law Shield.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, pointing out the fact that when you hear these stories, the biggest one that I always point out is the death of Jordan Davis, Representative Lucy McBath's son, and the man who killed him and the man who is going to be dying in prison for killing him essentially just shot him and then went back to his hotel room, had some pizza, went to sleep, and then drove home. And when the police showed up, he said, "Oh, I saw a shotgun and I was standing my ground. I was afraid for my life." And and I point out the fact that he didn't just come up with that idea.
No, that idea was planted by the anti-gun groups.
Correct. He was taught that, and he was not taught by Second Amendment supporters. He was taught by the anti-gun people, and these anti-gun people they're trying to get rid of Stand Your Ground and concealed carry and Castle Doctrine and all of those things. And they're doing it by trying to scare people, calling it, license to murder, when in fact they're actually emboldening, people who are of the right moral mindset, I'll just say, that will murder somebody.
The right lack of moral mindset.
Correct. That don't have any problem with murdering another human being and will feel even more emboldened at the fact that they can just say, "Oh yeah, I was a scared."
Yep. And it's a short step from that to Butler, Pennsylvania, or the murder of Charlie Kirk in Utah. It's the same concept, just carrying on the next level. People talk about the myth of the slippery slope. It's not a myth. We've seen it. You call a group of people evil or criminals or troublemakers or whatever long enough, people are going to believe it. And it's nothing new. I mean, heck, back in the 60s, the Stonewall riots, which wasn't really a riot so much as police brutality, but it's a different story. But it was the same kind of thing, as all these people are degenerates who are going to harm our children, so we're justified in causing them harm.
Mm-hmm.
Carries on to this day. And it's just more of it. Sorry, I pushed my own button there.
Yeah.
Which is not the title of my sex tape.
Yes. All right. Well, the this next one is going to push some buttons as well. I linked just because it was so just a beautiful encapsulation of the stupidity of gun control laws. Is this
this story and the two that follow? It's a trifecta of stupidity.
Oh yeah. But essentially, Costas is pointing this person that says, need an ID for this, but not to vote. Makes a lot of sense. And it's actually, what is that tool, David?
That's an AR barrel and buffer tube wrench. So it's an armorer's wrench for an AR. So it can be used for the barrel, the castle nut, the muzzle devices, all sorts of stuff. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of AR tools.
Mm-hmm. And because it is an AR-15 tool, California's assault weapons...
AB 1263.
Correct. And I have a PDF for the gun owners of California talking about essentially giving a summary of the law, but it is saying essentially it requires firearm industry members selling barrels, accessories, or CNC machines to provide written notice of that unlicensed manufacture is a crime, and verify buyer's age and identity. So you need to show ID if you are buying specifically, if you're buying 3D printers that would be capable of carrying capable of building a firearm, which is pretty much all of them.
I believe it's 3D printers capable of printing firearms or firearms parts, which is all of them.
Yeah.
Because firearm parts could be a pistol grip.
Yep. And so
that's AB 1263 in California. CNC milling machines and digital firearm files. So that's going to be that's definitely pushing my buttons.
I mean, the good news for this is that California is not a gun-friendly state. They wouldn't have gotten this way if there wasn't a lot of people sympathetic to this sort of idea. Mm-hmm. But also, California is also well known to be a hub for the fine arts. And so I'm wondering, especially with the 3D printing and all that, like how many people will get essentially splash damage and essentially be treated like gun owners when they are not gun owners, and they're not sympathetic to gun owners, and they just want to make knickknacks or parts for something, prototyping things that they want to make that are non-gun related.
But a couple of elements in this that I can see ripe for Supreme Court notice is that this AB 1263 makes it illegal to share or download CAD CAM files that can produce firearms, parts, or magazines in California, even for personal or hobby use. That sounds an awful lot like a First Amendment violation to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also makes it a crime to cause, assist, or promote another person's unlawful manufacture of firearms using CNC machines, 3D printers, or similar devices. That sounds unlawfully vague, because that could be someone in a state where it's perfectly legal talking about how, hey, look, I printed this AR lower on my 3D printer. Well, that's causing, assisting, or promoting. Kind of like the poor bastard in England who was arrested for posting a picture of a shotgun that he fired in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna dig up that story. That story right now. Actually, I was planning on putting it on, but I forgot about it when I was writing up the show notes.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, I will talk about the next layer of this, which is on the opposite coast. So AB 1263 is California. AB 2228 is New York, and everyone who's a regular listener knows my love for New York and New York legislature. So the title of AB 2228 requires a criminal history background check for the purchase of a three-dimensional printer capable of creating firearms. Prohibits sale to a person who would be disqualified on the basis of criminal history from being granted a license to possess a firearm. That's the title. The text is worse, because the text capable of printing a firearm or any components of a firearm, which again is all 3D printers. So it's not to their credit, it's not a long law. It's only about a page, but it's still, there are going to be people who suddenly have to shutter their business because they were a prohibited person, but they were using 3D printers to make things as an income generation that were not at all firearm related, and now they can't. And I don't see anything that would grandfather previously owned ones. It just says sale of. So my guess is if you already owned one, you wouldn't be retroactively background checked, but there's nothing saying you wouldn't be. So, and this is, I believe, the third time this bill has been proposed in the Assembly, and I believe it's the third time it's basically stalled. But every time they propose it, they are shifting that Overton window a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And if California is doing it, and California will pass AB 1263, and that's just a given. And within the next few years, New York will pass AB 2228 or equivalent. And that's two of the largest markets for anything, much less 3D printers. And as Oddball has talked about, both on the show and in his segments, you can buy parts and make a 3D printer without actually buying a 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going to be rendered illegal next.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the funny part is with the... I'll just do a basic version of this. But what Oddball has said is, you buy the parts, you build a basic 3D printer, which you then use to print some of the other parts for the printer if you don't already have a printer.
So it's a von Neumann machine with extra steps?
Pretty much, yeah, because some of the parts have to be metal, and 3D printing metal is still prohibitively expensive. But a lot of the other parts, basic PLA Plus is fine.
And of course, you've got this just endless cat and mouse game. The California assault weapons ban is probably the greatest choice. Of the point of that is the fact that, it started off with the standard 2 feature, just like the federal assault weapons ban in the from 94 to 2004,
right.
and
New York from 2000 until the SAFE Act.
Yeah, and then they added essentially to it needs to have one feature, and so started getting these featureless rifles, and but one of the features is a removable magazine, so they would put magazines in, but it would be at first it needed the bullet button, so the magazine release was recessed inside the receiver, so you actually need to push it either with, a lot of people had rings made, but you could also use the tip of a bullet.
Right. The bullet buttons were all sorts of things. The original bullet buttons, you had to use the tip of a cartridge. The rings came later.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then
sorts of different techniques for adding a step.
Yeah, there was a company that made essentially a stripper clip guide for the ejection port of an AR, so that you could load a 10-round AR stripper clip into the ejection port and strip them directly into the magazine, as if it was a fixed magazine.
There's also another variation of that I saw in New York before we moved, which is it's a fixed magazine, but if you hit the mag release, it drops it down. exposing a port in the side of the mag well, and then you insert the stripper clip in there.
Yep.
So you're not, because through the ejection port, there's a little bit more travel.
Yep.
And it's a little bit more complicated of a feed path for a stripper clip. Whereas through the side of the mag well apparently is simpler-ish. But it's just...
I saw one that was very strange, and I may be misremembering, but the magazine was fixed, and when you went to reload it, basically the rear pin popped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, much like a break top revolver, the AR would flip open and you would feed it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a quick release rear pin.
Yep.
And there were stripper clip guides inside the magwell, if I remember correctly.
Well, there was also other ones where the magazine release was located somewhere in the interior of the gun, so that when you pulled the either that or it may have been blocked by the upper receiver, because essentially the law states that the magazine can be removed. Like, say you've got a Remington 700, a gun that has as a general rule, a fixed magazine. There are detachable magazine variants, but you can remove the magazine from that, or a Mosin Nagant.
But the Remington 700 is a manual action rifle, not a semi-automatic.
That's true, but I'm just saying
So for the assault weapon ban, what you might want to go with instead is the Remington 7400.
Yes.
Which is a semi-automatic detachable magazine rifle that does not meet the requirements for the assault weapons.
Yes, but the law states that the magazine can only be removed if the gun is disassembled. And so essentially they've used the idea is modified the rear takedown pin so that it's extended and usually has a paracord loop on it, so you can just grab that loop and give it a good solid tug, and it'll unhinge the upper and lower, and that'll allow you to drop the magazine, replace a fresh one, slam the gun back together, reinsert the pin, and away you go. And of course there's and of course there's also the I think you guys have both seen, there's a mag coupler where you can actually take 5 10-round magazines and couple them together in a 5-pointed star so that you can drop it, and it's essentially just a giant like jungle mag, but it's instead of like 2 or 3 coupled together, it's 5. So instead you have one 50-round magazine, but it's 5 10-round magazines put together, so it's still legal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, people find...
Did they do that for the 1022? I thought they did that first.
They may have.
Then they went to the AR, or maybe it was the other one. But anyway, yeah, it's multiple firearms have had that coupler system, so it's a fraction of a second to change magazines instead of a longer fraction of a second.
Yeah, they come up with a ban. We come up with a way around it, and that's also the reason why.
Wait, Erin, what's the quote?
Oh, I know which one you mean, but I'm actually drawing a blank on the literal thing that I said. Do you have it handy?
Hold on a second. Let me see if I have it handy.
It's the world sees gun control as damage and routes around it.
The free market.
Yeah, the free market.
The free market sees gun control as damage and routes around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so, yeah, and I think the same thing's going to start happening with 3D printers. Is they're going to try to ban them, and again, they have to keep getting more and more ridiculous to try to get through this, and especially with the 3D printed world, there's the normie population is going to take splash damage.
I mean, it's already started in a lot of places because the proposals to ban sniper rifles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's a sniper rifle? That's Grandpa's bolt-action hunting rifle with a scope on it.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, it's for the gun prohibitionists. The goal is only the government has guns. I
saw a movie about that once. It was called Schindler's List.
Yeah, there's actually a bunch of places like that where only the government has guns. It's called prison. But that is their goal. And I think I told you about the conversation I had with this one guy, and it got around to gun control. And I mentioned the Second Amendment and Said, if you want to pass these kinds of laws, all you have to do first is repeal the Second Amendment, and there's a process for that. Well, that's never going to happen. Like, well, then you don't get to nibble the edges. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court has not followed that guideline. They need to just listen to me.
It's your own fault for not becoming a lawyer like your mother wanted, David.
Oh, we had lawyers in the family. My mother did not want me to become a lawyer. A doctor, on the other hand, she would have been thrilled. But
I'm practically a doctor.
Thank you, Weer'd.
Yep. Yep. There we go.
All right. Can we move on to the story that we teased?
I don't know. Can we?
Yes. So this is the story is this is a British man, and he went on vacation in Florida, and when in Rome, when in Florida, become Florida man.
Yeah, and I feel the picture that was posted of him with the pump shotgun, it looks like a Remington 870.
It does.
He's wearing hearing protection, but not eye protection, and he is cantilevered way the heck back.
Oh, his stance is hot garbage.
Yeah, he's doing the newbie lean.
He's doing newbie lean, and his head is nowhere near the stock, but his finger is on the trigger. So I'm wondering if he was actually shooting, or if they just said, "Here, hold the gun and point it over there, and we'll get a picture of you." But
I gotta imagine because he was wearing he was wearing the hearing protection, but it was definitely informal instruction. Because especially with a 12 gauge, I would never let somebody touch off a round with a form that was that bad, and because
even if it's a 20 gauge still, but it's probably a 12 gauge, but.
Yeah, anyway, it's just a way to get yourself hurt, and I mean, people are able to shrug off when something is painful, but also that's enough of the all right. I don't want to do that ever again.
But Weer'd, what happened to Mr. Richelieu Booth?
Well, so the police ended up contacting him and told him that the post may be a problem. Let's see, there was kind of a little like two-step that.
Yeah, the officers showed up at his door, told him what he'd been posting online and how it could impact other people, and then they returned later and arrested him and put him in jail overnight. And he was intensely questioned about the picture and another image. And according to the article, bail documentation allegedly mentioned accusations of firearm possession intended to frighten, as well as stalking charges relating to an image of a property. And he said the photos had been taken while he was on holiday in the U.S., and he was tried to prove it. And an IT consultant he was an IT consultant, and he was released on bail. And then the police visited him 3 separate times, and then finally everything was dropped, but he was still charged with a public order offense, whatever that is.
Someone was made upset by something he posted, because, as we have seen multiple times in formerly Great Britain, if you post a picture or say something that hurts someone else's feelings, you can be arrested for it.
Mm-hmm. And just the mere fact of him pointing a gun we have no idea. I mean, he's standing at the edge of a swamp, so he could possibly be just shooting into the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like clearly not a menacing photo. This is really regular everyday activity in much of the United States.
Yeah.
And
even in the banned states, that would be considered normal behavior outside the urban areas. Yeah,
I own a Mossberg 590. I own probably actually the more assaulty version of that shotgun, and I'm here in Massachusetts, and it's perfectly legal because it's pump action.
Yep. But Mr. Richelieu Booth has also claimed he's planning to pursue legal proceedings against the West Yorkshire Police.
Well, we skipped something important here, and that was the fact that he was set to appear at court earlier the month, but the case was dropped due to insufficient evidence. In other words, they finally realized what a piece of hot garbage this case was. And
just how hard they'd stepped on their genitals.
Yes. And so that's good. But as you said, he says, I will be filing a case against the police. And I imagine this in a British accent, which I can't do well, but I will be seeking quite a lot of damages.
Yeah. Because it disrupted his life for, 13 weeks. They dragged this out over 3 months, raking this guy over the coals for an innocent picture that was taken in another country where the activity was perfectly legal.
And I mean, I could understand a bit more if it were an AR-15, but it's a pump shotgun, which I don't think is illegal in Britain. I mean, I'm sure it's heavily restricted because all firearms are, but it's what you use to hunt birds with. Surely people still hunt in Great Britain.
Well, it's mostly the upper class, and it's mostly with doubles.
Oh,
from what I've read.
Oh, okay. So break action Holland and Holland. Okay,
military shotguns or something. One of those tactical shotguns because it can fire more than twice. But also, one of the important details that actually Weer'd has brought up on other occasions is the double shotgun hunting is the upper class. And Mr. Richelieu Booth is almost certainly not a member of that class.
No, he's clearly middle class.
Yeah. So he's not of the nobility, the royalty, or their associated families. So they need to make an example of him so he doesn't get above his station. Which is one of the things that the American nobility also tries to do, which brings us back around to Daniel Penny again. but yeah, he several West Yorkshire police told Metro police received a complaint of stalking involving serious alarm or distress relating partly to social media posts, several of which included pictures of a male posing with a variety of firearms, which the complainant took to be a threat. Yet, in all of the articles that I have seen, even from the BBC, the only picture of him with a firearm is him with that pump shotgun. Well, if there was a picture of him with an AR, that one would have been the one that the anti-press would lead with.
But that also might have been one of the ones that was taken down. So
I'm sure that when the complaint came in, the West Yorkshire police got copies of all the appropriate images.
Oh, I'm sure.
So if they had an image of him posing with an AR-15, it would have been released to whatever the most anti-gun paper reporting on the story was. The fact that no such picture has appeared to my knowledge anywhere implies that the multiple variety of firearms might have just been different shotguns. Because it's kind of like the one of the things that we've talked about, if someone says that Trump said something racist, the man is never not being recorded. Show me the video.
So I did a little bit of digging.
Did you find another image?
I did find another image.
And
it's not better. It's him.
He's not even holding that one.
He's not he's standing in front of, it's definitely the same swampy area. And he is standing in front of a camo pattern synthetic stock bolt action rifle of some flavor.
Yep.
And I do want to point out, it's not a pistol grip either.
No, it's a standard semi-pistol grip.
Well, I thought it was called like it's either a straight stock or Monte Carlo grip. I'm not entirely sure based on that angle.
From what I can see, it's what's commonly referred to as a semi-pistol grip, in that there is a pistol grip curve. It's not a straight stock. You can see just a little bit of the bump protruding below the line of the stock. And for military long guns, that's referred to as a semi-pistol grip. I'm not sure if that's also the same term used on commercial.
And I just found another one where he is shooting equally as terribly a Ruger S-FAR with
that's the one that should have gotten him arrested. Yeah.
With no sights, and there's also on the table behind him there is a
another AR-4 end.
Okay.
And you can see the tower front sight. I can
actually. This comes off of a off of an article from the Sun. And so I will link that in the show notes because it's got.
See, this is the first time I have seen those two photos.
Me too.
And I've been kind of following this story. And the last one of him with the AR without sights, his form is horrible. He's also holding all four fingers wrapped around the pistol grip below the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same table, I believe, that the bolt-action rifle was resting on in the other photo, or similar table.
Actually, I think the photo that I just posted is that actual photo. It's just it was cropped.
Yep. So 2 ARs. The one that he's holding in the other picture. The one he's holding in the other picture is not there.
Yep. Because that is a Ruger SFAR or SFAR.
Yeah, but you can clearly see different forends where these have the tower front sight. That one has just a full length forend. High capacity ammunition feeding devices. Oh, and Dr. Pepper Zero. So he was drinking too.
Not just any, that's a Texas beverage, sir.
But he was drinking it in Florida.
That's true.
I also want to know which police department is that on the shirt. It's City Island, and I can't quite make it out.
Yeah, I can't. I can't either.
Oh, and do you see what's hanging down outside his shirt in those photos?
Oh, yes, he is wearing a crucifix around his neck.
Yes, therefore he's a religious extremist.
That's right.
Actually, what is the difference between a crucifix and a cross?
I believe the crucifix is the one that actually has the image of Christ on it.
Okay, that makes sense. I kind of was thinking that, but it's not my playground, so I didn't want to make an assumption.
Yeah, Erin had to let the dog out. She's the one that's corrected me.
That answers the age-old question.
Yes.
Who let the dog out?
Oh, in this article at the very, very end, let's see. He has.
I also misread
this photo. This is probably the real one that they had the problem with. It's him with a Hawaiian style shirt, and he has one of those small novelty American flags,
a parade flag. Yeah.
Yep. And red, white, and blue sunglasses.
The sunglasses really make the whole image. But I actually have a shirt not too different from that. I guess I shouldn't go to England. And I think that's a goat in the pen behind him.
Yeah, this is. They
goats,
definitely have
plural.
They definitely have farm animals. There's in these photos. There's multiple, which leads me to believe that it is. Leads me to believe that this is just somebody's house. Yeah, possibly someone that's a member of a police department. Because again, he's wearing some sort of police shirt in the photo, and that would make a ton of sense if, in fact, he was visiting a friend in Florida, and this friend is a police officer. And as we know, it's police officers that have massive gun collections is not an uncommon thing, and especially in lovely states like Florida. And so,
there's also this image that. It's like, I wonder if he's planning on moving here.
I mean,
my favorite color is freedom with an American flag and an eagle.
Yes, I think if he wasn't, I think he is strongly considering it.
Yep. Oh, and looking at that picture, I think that might be, and actually maybe Erin can more clearly answer the difference between a cross and a crucifix. A crucifix has Jesus on it?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to guess about somebody else's religion.
Yeah.
But I believe in that picture with the my favorite color is freedom picture. I believe that is actually a crucifix because it looks like there is a figure on it. So we're trying to figure out if the shirt, the guns, or the cross/crucifix got him in the most trouble in England.
I mean, I will agree. When you zoom in on that, it does look like there's something on the cross, but when I look at the other one where he's in front of the table, it looks bare, but maybe that's just because it's far away. I don't know. But one thing I will point out, I mean, there are Catholics in England, but they aren't common because, brief history digression, the Church of England happened because Henry, I think the 8th, wanted to get a divorce, and the Pope wouldn't give him one. And so he basically said, okay, I'm now the head of the Church of England. And
I'm going to create my own religion with blackjack and hookers.
And so that's how Anglicanism happened, which then became Episcopalianism here in the United States. And for people who have been to those services, and I was a member of an Episcopal church for many years, it has been described, I would say both accurately and not unkindly, as Catholicism light, where you have all the ritual and half the guilt. So all of that is a very wordy way of saying I think it's far more likely that he's Protestant because England is much more of a Protestant nation.
Okay.
Now, I mean, if he were in Scotland, that would be different. But they did say Leeds, and Leeds is actually in England.
Though I will add that his name, I could be wrong, but does seem like it does have a little bit of a French twist to it. So,
well, I mean, yeah, Richelieu. Of course, there has been quite a lot of cross fertilization between the English and the French. I mean, that was the entire plot of Henry V, where you've got Prince Harry, who declares he is the rightful king of France, and so you've got the Norman invasion of, I want to say, 1066, and they were called the Normans because they were in the north of France. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, and if he's got a very strong French familial side, he could be. I mean, there are Catholics in England. I'm just saying it's not very common.
Either way, the fact that we're speculating on all of this shows how ridiculous England has gotten, both with what we would consider First Amendment and Second Amendment. Obviously, they have none of those things there.
Oh, hey, that is a picture of him with an AR-15.
Yeah.
I had to let Tilly out. I missed that one.
Yep.
No, I found
as a result, you
that has a
answered
bunch
the
of pictures.
age-old question. We now know it was you who let the dogs out.
Woof, 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 woof.
Nice, thank you. But yeah, so he has that. Weer'd's pretty sure that one that he's shouldering is an SFAR or SFAR. But then in the other picture, there are two different ARs on the table as well, and a Dr. Pepper Zero. So he was drinking.
He looks so awkward doing that. He needs to shoulder that rifle higher.
Yeah, he needs some proper guidance. I also, though, do like the camo rubber boots he's wearing. That's just adorable.
I mean, given the terrain, which looks to be... I mean, I'm going to guess he's in South Florida. I would say that's pretty practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just posted a picture of the Ruger SFAR, SFAR, however they were. I think it's SFAR is how they pronounce it, because that was actually subject of a lawsuit. They got sued by FN for imitating the SCAR that they have discontinued.
So, and actually, if you look at the Ruger picture, one of the distinctive elements is right in front of the trigger guard at the back of the magazine well, that triangular meeting of reinforcement and leading into the magazine release protective ridges. There's that little triangle element, which is also on the one that he's holding, which is not something I remember seeing on a lot of other rifles.
No, that's why the moment our assault weapons ban is gone, I'm buying one of those. I think they're awesome. It's essentially they took an AR-10 but managed to adjust parts enough that it's like 80% AR-15, both in size and the parts that it takes. Essentially, they used a modified bolt and bolt carrier to fit into essentially an AR-sized receiver with still the extended magazine for a 308.
Yep.
Love them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with my AR-10 that I built, but I honestly, I would not mind if it was smaller and lighter.
Yep.
All right. And I do want to point out that the last article that you tossed in, I misread the first part of the article title.
Mm-hmm.
I misread the word fury.
Yes.
2 R's.
There's been a lot of that going around.
Gunpick, furry IT boss arrested. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't read that he was a furry.
Stereotypes exist for a reason, David.
Pardon?
Stereotypes exist for a reason.
I was going to say, I mean, he's in IT, so it's not unexpected. But
it was like that meme where it showed an airplane and it was completely full of people in full fursuits.
Yes.
And someone posts, "What's your reaction to this?" And that's if that plane goes down, the internet is going to crash.
Yes.
So I decided to close off the show notes with a couple of positive stories, a little bit more feel good. And so this first one is Fifth Circuit tosses another weed and guns conviction. And so, yeah, we've got a whole
As
bunch
the
of
Supreme Court weighs the issue and
Mhm.
keeps weighing the issue and keeps weighing the issue.
Yeah, and of course, as we know, the person that's actually going to be seen by the Supreme Court is not a great guy and not a squeaky clean defendant,
No,
and which shouldn't mean anything, but
no.
But we know it
H.L. Mencken
does.
made a point of that.
I mean, especially since I believe, if I recall correctly, they think he was an intelligent asset for Iran.
Mhm.
Wait, what?
Yeah, one of the things he was being arrested for was being an Iranian spy, if I recall correctly. Hamani?
Yeah.
And okay, I want to make sure I wasn't making this up.
No, there's a whole. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like I can't even keep track of all of it. So yeah, this guy is and you know,
But
not
this
only was he
article's
using
talking
weed.
about. Wait, hold on a second. I'm scroll further down. It's talking about a fellow named Mitchell.
Yes, but no, this is the case that's currently in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, not the Fifth
Okay.
Circuit case.
Okay.
And so yeah. So while this case,
I thought you were talking about the linked article in the show notes.
but while this case did go in our favor, where essentially this person was being convicted of owning firearms while being a habitual user of marijuana, the case has been tossed in the fact that it's essentially just a violation of due process in the fact that marijuana is legal in that state, and so therefore, yeah, no, he's not.
Yeah, if you want to get federal law enforcement to arrest him for drug use, go ahead and try. They have way better things to do.
Yeah, and then he would get a felony conviction, and then you're all set. But yeah, this is, I mean, I've pointed out the entire 4473 addiction lines are really, really dumb, because it's one of those,
I don't think it says addiction anymore.
No, that's true. I actually think
it actually says habitual use of.
Yeah, but that's Maine's concealed carry questionnaire. I don't know if they've changed it, but yeah.
Are
but
you an unlawful user of blah blah blah?
Yeah, and that's the key, is the fact that, like, and it's a legal gray area. Again, we need to take marijuana off the DEA statutes. It's not going to hurt anybody, and it'll just make everything a whole lot more crystal clear and easier.
I mean, it's not going to be good for me because of my allergy, but I think that's a small price to pay for greater freedom.
Well, it's not going to make a difference to you, because I believe Tennessee has no legal marijuana, does it?
It's been proposed. It hasn't been passed last I knew, but I don't only stay in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I go to other states, and some of them are waiting. I told you that my last trip to New York in 2022, walking from 59th Street to 89th Street, and like every third person was smoking marijuana, and I had a horrific headache when we got back to the house or the apartment.
Here in Massachusetts, I can't go for any length of a walk without getting a good strong whiff of it. So it's just how it is. And unfortunately, you're allergic to it.
Yep. It's just like people walking around with cats.
Yep.
Would affect you.
Actually, yeah, it was the other day. I was just like, I looked down at my glove and I'm like, oh, why is my glove covered in dog hair? Oh yeah, the dog came up to say hi to me, and I gave him pet-pats. It was worth it.
Of course, you have to make sure that they are properly soft.
You need to test them all for softness, because you never know.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
All right, let's get on to this last one, of which I will note that I realized I didn't read this particularly thoroughly. I just read the headline and said, you know what, that's a good one.
I'm familiar with it. If you want me to.
Okay, excellent. Take it away, David.
Okay, so for NFA items not including suppressors, there is a requirement under the NFA or FFA. Anyway, one of the laws associated with the NFA, that if you are going to transport it across state lines, it is required to go through a process, fill out a form, and get approval from the ATF before doing so. Again, this does not apply to suppressors, but it applies to short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and machine guns. And this is it's called the Form 20. It's actually, what is that? Full, I don't know if it's in this article, but it's commonly referred to as Form 20 because it's Form blah, 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 blah 20. And it can take, if you're in bad luck, it can take weeks to over a month just for the ATF to go, yeah, that's fine. And it's ridiculous because
and it's my understanding that
you are properly
always
approved. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much, I've not heard of a case where it was denied.
And we've seen we know someone who writes chick stick machine guns.
But the Form 20 it's just.
Actually, I believe the phrase was chickstig full auto, but I don't quite remember at this point.
Yeah.
The statement is still true, and the statement still got the seal of approval.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
But either way, what I'm trying to say is that people have gone to the length of.
But with the Form 20, in addition, so Form 1 for making a suppressor, short-barreled rifle, or short-barreled shotgun. Form 4 for purchasing same as well as machine guns and destructive devices. Actually, Form 1 for destructive devices as well. Those, over the past several years, have been almost entirely digitized, which has drastically sped up processing, as well as some other changes that were made internally. The Form 20 was not until now. So they have digitized this form and drastically reduces the processing time. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a script that the form comes in, it checks to make sure if it's filled out, and then it approves it. One of the other things, again, as I said, doesn't apply to suppressors. There is the possibility that they may also, and this is still theoretical, but there is a possibility that they may also remove SBRs and SBSs from the Form 20 requirements, which would mean it would just be destructive devices and machine guns. So if that happens, that would be even better. It would be another step towards no NFA. But yeah, so no one here likes the ATF, but under previous and current leadership, they actually did make some improvements to document processing. I mean, the NFA should go away, followed by the ATF, but until then, we'll take the wins we can get. But it's a step forward. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be added there.
No, I don't think so. So I think I'm not even going to come up with a great segue. I'm just going to dive in and start thanking our listeners. Thank you so much to all of you, each and every one of you. We really appreciate you tuning into this show. We hope you enjoyed it. But also, we've got to give a lot of love to our special supporters, the patrons, the lovely patrons. I'm off script. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Assorted Calibers Podcast to sign up. And again, it's not a tip jar. We're not begging. It's a shop. You can get early release of the podcast. You can get the ACP blooper reels, the ACP film tracks, and the ACP mag dump.
Also, please remember to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Pocket Casts, subscribe to us on the platform of your choice, and share the show with your friends, both online and off. Tilly, stop.
Puppy.
She's got a hold of the drawstring of my hoodie, and she's playing tug of war. And
yeah.
And look, I know I said she was a puggle, but I'm pretty sure she's at least half pit bull, and she's got seriously strong delts and lats, and when she decides to dig in, she's not going anywhere.
This is the reason why fishermen, when they have hoodies, they immediately pull that drawstring out, because
you don't want to be around machinery with that.
Exactly. That drop drops into a winch drum or a hauler. You can be in big trouble fast. You can get more from me at my blog, which is weerdworld.com. That's WEERD world.com. And hear me weekly on Handgun Radio on the Firearms Radio Network.
And you can get more from me at linktree/Erin Paulette. That's linktree.ee. I was out of key on that. /Erin Paulette, all one word.
And David, where can people find you?
right here, as often as I can get a segment submitted on Handgun Radio, as long as Ryan has it at some decent hour. Also a contributor to Blue Collar Prepping at bluecollarprepping.blogspot.com, and books with my stories can be found on Amazon under Brenna Bach and David Bach.
And thanks to Nate.
Sorry, I almost forgot one thing. I apologize. Also, if you are interested in becoming a writer, teamandmore.org is a great resource for open calls for stories.
And thanks to Nate Spencer for our music.
No pressure.
Weer'd has a 2-legged daughter. I have a 4-legged daughter. And I don't know, David, how many cats do you have?
I have 3 cats, 2 girls, and a boy. So lots of legs.
Our children are assorted, and so's our podcast. Good night, everyone.
And with the children that we deserve, good night.